need a mic? I don't know. I haven't really thought much about what to say. You guys know I can kind of talk without thinking. I guess I kind of want to tell you two stories and kind of where we are at. And I say we because I'm about 150% sure she's still here and still with us and me. I was glad Sherry shared the 222 with you. She's on my water bottle, so we added that. 222 had been our number for, since kind of the beginning, and we always laughed about that, and it would pop up in random places, and we would talk about it. And 2 weeks ago, I was working at a show in Richmond where she had won the overall 2 years ago, and would have been there with me. I'm trying to stay in our routine. I'm trying to do what her and I did. I'm trying to continue on what we started and where we were. And so I was at the show and I'm working, and we finished up the afternoon or the evening, and I go back to the room. Working the show was okay because I was busy. But I get back to the room, and that's where it came hard, because that's usually when we would walk in the door and we would talk shit about everybody. Do you see how horrible that person looked? What about him? He's an ass. We really like her. How do you know? That's what and don't hate, because you guys all do the exact same. Probably about us. So I'm talking to her, and I talk to her continuously, out loud, in my car, wherever I am, in the house. As soon as I walk in the door, I talk to her. I talk to her everywhere. But I'm sitting there and I'm talking to her, and I was texting with Karen. And earlier that day, there was a post I put. I was in the gym, I had my hoodie on, I had this on, and I said, we are going to do what we do. We're heading to Baltimore to do a show. And below that, I put, I want to quit, but I promise you I won't. I love you. And I posted that picture on Instagram and Facebook. So I'm texting Karen, and she was asking how many people were there and how I'm doing, and I said, I'm horrible. And I wrote a text, and I said, Karen, I'm done. I said, I think I quit. I can't live in this world. I don't mean this world, I mean this world, the bodybuilding world, or what we do, and the shows, and the training, and the workout, and competing, and everything. I said, I don't think I can do it. It's too hard. I just don't think I'm going to be able to do it. And I hit send. I scrolled over on my phone, and I opened Instagram, and I went right to my story, and I opened up, and it was from 7 hours before, and it says seen by 222 people.
Oh, wow.
And I screenshotted it, and I saved it, and I look at it about 50 times a day, because I felt like that was her telling me that I couldn't quit. And since then, there's probably been about 5 other things that are very specific to her and I. Cooking was a big thing. We loved to cook. That was the best time of day, was coming home and cooking, so we could make stupid videos for my YouTube channel and be dumb, and she would always video it, and we would laugh because I'd have to do 3 or 4 takes, and it was just, that was what we did. And then we would cook. So I get home Sunday night 2 weeks ago, and I want to make this chicken that she wanted. It was chicken with jalapeno inside, stuffed with cream cheese, Italian seasoning, wrapped in bacon, and more cheese on top, shocker. But all keto, so no carbs. And she always made the vegetables. She cut up the salad. We do a fresh salad every night. She always cut up the salad, and she would do all the vegetables and dessert. So I had bought a Ninja Foodie. Usually we cook in the cast iron, and I can cook, but I can't bake and I can't do the rest of it. So I buy this Ninja Foodie. She never got to see it. It was sitting on the kitchen counter waiting for her when we got home from Max Muscle that Saturday, and she never got to see it. So Sunday I decided I was going to use it and cook it. So I'm bringing this thing out, and I'm reading the directions, and I was going to make asparagus. So I made asparagus as best I could remember how she did it. I put it in the oven, completely forgot about it. I'm sitting here reading instructions, and I'm like, oh crap, and I open up the oven, and the asparagus is black. Pulled it out, I said, baby, I said, I can't cook vegetables without you. I said, let me eat them anyway. And I said, they were not bad, these are like chips. So I ate them. But I said, I'm not going to be able to do vegetables without you. This is going to be a tough road. So I finally get the chicken in there and I cook it for like 16, 17 minutes. I open it up, the top was cooked, the bottom was raw. I'm like, what the, I don't know how the hell to use this thing. I turn it upside down, I close the lid, and I go in and I sit down in the living room on the table and I'm watching the TV. Sitting in there for, I don't know, 5-10 minutes, not really paying attention to anything and just kind of zoning out. And in the kitchen, there's fluorescent lights. One fluorescent light in the ceiling. The light went out, completely dark. I got up and I walked in. I still had the light on the oven, on the like over top of the stove. And I walked in and I said, "Hun, why are you shutting the lights off on me when I'm trying to cook?" I said, "I'm going to end up burning dinner." And I opened it up and I go, "Well, I'll be damned." The chicken was about, it was done. It was about ready to burn. And I would have sat in there for another 10 minutes and let it go. So I said, "Look at you." I said, "You're kind of watching out for me." I said, "I'm talking. I'm not upset." I said, "This is good." And I reached in and I pulled one piece of chicken out. It's still in the dark. I put it down, a little bit of light coming in. I took the other piece of chicken out and I set it down on the table and I said, "Thank you for saving dinner." And the light came on. That light's never flickered. That light's never gone off since. It had never gone out before. I am 1% positive that that was her. And there's been about 3 or 4 other things that are very, very specific to us. So I know she's here. I feel like she's here. I carry her shirt around with me. I have the necklace, which was my dumbbell. And I took her dumbbell and opened it up. Her ashes are inside. And then I had them welded together. So she's here, but I know she's here. 6 years ago, when we met, I was in a pretty shitty, rough, dark place. I'd lost the gym. I didn't have any place to live. I lived in my car for 2 months at the rest stop. Lied to everybody about what I was doing and how I was, except her. And she supported me and believed in me and pushed me unlike anybody ever had in anything. And 3 years ago, I get the job teaching. We started the business and everything just kind of fell into place, or started to fall into place. And we talked about all the time how we loved our little routine. It was simple, but we did everything together. We did cardio, we trained, she went to work, I went to work, we came home, I did business stuff, we met at the gym, we trained again, we went home, we cooked, we made videos, we went to bed and got up and did it again. Saturday would roll around and we wake up. What do you want to do? I don't know. You want to drive to Philly and go get cheesesteaks? Yeah. And we jump in the car and like she was always up to do something crazy, wild, whatever it was. There was no question. And speaking of crazy, she's the only other person in the world that I can imagine when I said, I want to buy a tiny house, went, oh my God, that sounds great. We totally need to do that. And that was one of the things that was on our list. You guys in bodybuilding know when you start competing, and you start competing at the level that she competed at, you put life on hold for 14 weeks, 20 weeks, whatever you're doing, you put life on hold because time-wise, financial-wise, whatever it is, it all goes into that show. And we made a conscious decision about 3 years ago that if she was going to compete at this level and we were going to do it, then we were going to do it the right way. So everything went into that. And we would kind of laugh every time there was another show coming up. All right, well, we'll put life on hold a little bit longer. Whether that was buying a tiny house, getting married, whatever we had planned and talked about, it was always on hold for a show. So I'm kind of at the place now that I need to check some boxes for her. I go through our routine every day. I haven't missed a workout, haven't missed a show. I cook the same crap that we cooked because it's what she would do. I want to quit every day. when all the other crap happened to me 6 years ago, and 10 years ago when my parents died, and when my nephew and niece got murdered, and since then my brother, my nephew, I mean, there's been a lot of grief. I always threw myself into my routine. She is my routine. So throwing myself into my routine is a little different. And I've told several of you this. Tuesday night, Taco Tuesday, I come home a week and a half or 2 weeks ago. I grabbed 2 pounds of ground beef out of the freezer, put it out to thaw, and I went to the gym. And I got back from the gym, and I said, well, I guess I got to cut up onions and jalapenos and lettuce, because that was her job. And I did that. Didn't cut off my finger. I did okay. I felt like I was doing good. And I went into the kitchen to cook the ground beef, and I went, why do I have 2 pounds out? It's just me. It took me an hour to put away ground beef. But I'm doing our routine, and I know there's not a right or a wrong. I'm just doing what we did, so I have boxes to check. In September, I'll get her pro card, so the IFBB is going to present me with her pro card. That box will be checked. In July, my pro card. I never wanted to get on stage again. It had been 19 years, and I had no desire to compete. And she pushed me and pushed me and pushed me, and you can do it, and look at these guys, I know you can, and we started talking about it. And I said, I don't have a desire to go win a trophy. I don't need to be, 4th out of 9th. That doesn't do anything for me. If I'm not going to be there and be at the top, I don't want to do it. And now I know I belong there and I can do it. And it was literally 100% her support. We trained together for the show. The last show we did in July. Most people, I think, would kill each other, and it was pretty good. We ate the same things, we trained together, it worked perfect. So I'm gonna check that box. I want the tiny house, that's gonna be a little bit further off, but I will check that box too, and it'll be named after her, so everybody can come, we can have a party in the house called, only 5 of you can come in at one time. I'm going to name the house to Sofia and put a plaque on it, and that'll be our house. So I have boxes that I need to check. I need you guys, and not just the bodybuilding wise, but I need all of her best friends. I need people that she worked with. Like, I need you guys to help me keep her alive. This was a huge part of her life, but you guys were a huge part of her life before me, during me, and she loved all of you guys. I loved hearing all the stories. Everybody always asked, why do you guys get along so well? Like, there's a 25-year difference. Because you know what? In this little world right here, nobody gave a shit. Didn't make any difference. We didn't listen to the same music. Who the hell is Bad Bunny? I don't know. She likes scary, right? 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 I'm like, I don't know what the hell any of that is. And she would get in the car and I'm like, what do you listen to? You didn't even speak Spanish. How do you know? And she said, that's where we were jamming. I said, okay. And meanwhile, I got the Beach Boys and 80s hair bands on. So, and sometimes a certain song would come on and she would be like, ooh, this is a classic. I'm like, it's not a classic, but okay. We didn't watch the same movies. Well, we did, but only because we were forced to. She likes scary movies. I hate scary movies. But we watched them. We didn't ride the same rides. I love roller coasters. She likes the ones that do this. I checked that box a week ago. But we worked because our routine was simple. We did the same things. And it just worked. Going through all of her stuff with her mom, I was like, I guess I didn't realize like how simple of a life we had. There's scrubs and there's workout clothes. There's no fancy jewelry. There's no, anything. It was just simple. And it worked. So, like I said, I didn't really know what I was going to say or where. She loved you guys. This is the kind of thing that she would love. She would have been bouncing around here, and talking to everybody and taking pictures and posing and laughing and being silly and everybody liking her. And then we would leave and go get in the car and we would talk shit about all of you. And you guys will all get in the car and talk shit about everybody else. But I don't know. I know I have a lot of support and everybody keeps telling me. And I understand that. But it's very, very hard. I could write a book on grief, but it's very hard to figure out how I live in this little world that we created without her with me. I wish I could quit it and just be done and go, I told somebody earlier, go play tiddlywinks or something, but I don't. This is what I know and this is what we knew. But I need her friends and all of you guys to keep her alive in every way I can. I think she touched everybody. I walk in 7-Eleven a few days after she passed, the lady in 7-Eleven, oh my God, I heard what happened, are you okay? I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? The people at 7-Eleven know?
She was
Last
at
night,
7-Eleven.
yep.
Great.
Last night, I was like, can I have her 7-Eleven points? How do I know? I go into Charbroil Grill last night, because usually after a show we would go get all-you-can-eat crabs or all-you-can-eat steak. So I go to Charbroil Grill and I walk in and I sit down by myself. Come over and they fill my water and the waiter comes over and he says, by yourself? And I said, yeah, just me tonight, unfortunately. And he said, I hate to ask. He said, usually you're here with this beautiful woman and we're in the back and we saw you by yourself. We were afraid something bad happened. I said, yeah, and I told him. And the waiter at Charbroil Grill is sitting there crying and telling me how much they loved us coming in because she was always so happy and bouncing around and she was so beautiful. And I'm like, did this girl make an impact on everybody?
Yeah, absolutely.
I've gotten 500 messages on Facebook, Instagram, you name it. Hi, you don't know me. I met Sofia 3 years ago backstage and she was such an amazing person and told me that my suit looked great and I should do good and she was such an influence and I followed her and everybody. And it just blows me away. When I went through all of her stuff, I kept out a lot of her workout clothes. And I was telling the girls from work, I kept out 3 pairs of her socks. Not because I wanted her socks, but because Dr. Hahn that she worked for, she would sneak in and so they had scrubs and you're supposed to wash your scrubs at work. She would take all of our laundry and do all of our laundry at work. I guess Dr. Hahn, the owner, came out one day and he had a sock that was about this big. And he said, who the hell's doing their 3-year-old's laundry? Because their sock was so small. I saw our orchestra teacher this morning who I had never met because Sofia played the cello, was a fantastic cello player. And she found bodybuilding through orchestra. They were at an orchestra event at Garfield High School, and we were there for Max Muscle, which meant she was 18 and I was 73 or something. She saw that and walked in and saw bodybuilding and was like, this is what I want to do. And she was completely blown away by it. And that's when she decided her senior year that she wanted to start bodybuilding and working out. The owner, the manager at Chin was here earlier, I don't know if he still is, that she worked for when she was 17 or 18. But her cello teacher told me, she said after about a year after she graduated, Sofia came back. We always laughed because every morning she would send Karen pictures in the beginning and she would tell Sherry, can you see my abs? That was what she was always so worried about. Can you see my abs?
Can you see my veins?
Can you see my veins? Look, this was 4 or 5 years ago. And I'm like, now you got abs 24/7 and veins 24/7. But in the beginning, that was where she was always focused. And Karen and I would laugh. I'm like, oh my God, don't send me another freaking picture of your abs. So her orchestra teacher tells me, she said she comes back after a year and she said there's a group of girls all around her and Sofia's over there talking and she comes over and she says to the orchestra teacher, she goes, come here, punch me in the stomach. You're gonna feel my abs. She said, Sofia, I'm not punching you in the stomach. No, it's okay, look, feel it. So it's just funny. That's what she brought everywhere. But there's literally not one of you in here that, you know, we haven't talked about, good or bad, where we could talk about, and that's just what we did. And I'll just end with this. I want to quit.
But you can't.
Not because I know I can't make it. Because I don't know if I want to without her. I went from such a dark place and a bad place to such a good place that we built because of her. And I supported her through bodybuilding and everything as much as she supported me. But I'm not. Because I know she wouldn't want that. And I know she's here. And I don't know where I'm going to be in a month or a year or 10 years without her. I was telling Sherry last night, it scares me to death. Like, I liked who I had become because of her. If that makes sense. I liked who she made me be. I was a better person because of Sofia. And a lot of times people go through tragedy and they become a shadow of themselves or a shell of themselves. And right now that's how I feel. I don't feel like me, but it scares the hell out of me that that's what it's always going to be, and I hope it's not. I can't thank all you guys for coming out enough. This is the shit she would love, because she would just think this is the coolest thing and the greatest thing ever. And like I said, just know that you guys all meant a lot to her. This whole world, everything she did. The kids, like Megan said, those were, I mean, she would laugh because she would be at work in the middle of an operative and her cell phone would go off. Auntie Sofia, can you talk? And she's like, well, I'm kind of at work in an operative. And she's on FaceTime, sending her a message in the middle of the afternoon. But that's how I want to keep her alive, through all you guys and through this and just everything we always did. She loved all you guys, and I think she impacted everybody. So that's it, I think. Thank you.